Hi everyone, hope you're doing good. Welcome to the next video on my YouTube channel. This is the platform where I come and share my knowledge and experience with you all. So without further delay, let's start the today's topic. And today we are going to talk about a very brand new feature which is not new, which has been recently released, but it has been a while that Microsoft added this particular feature. So I thought to explore this. What exactly is this? And it is related to our inventory valuation. So I have put this in the next part of our inventory valuation series, which we are going to have. So today we are going to talk about the global inventory accounting, and we are going to explore this particular feature, what it does for us. So if you talk about what is global inventory accounting, so global inventory accounting provides a comprehensive solution that enables the organization, specifically the international organizations, to use the multiple costing ledgers to do the inventory accounting, which means it allows you to have the inventory valuation as per the different accounting standard. So if you want to have the inventory valuation for as per IFRS as per as the GAAP, you can have for both the accounting standards. It allows you to have the multiple inventory valuations methods. So for example, you want to have the inventory valuation as per FIFO, as well as the standard cost, you can have it. It allows you to have the multiple currencies. So if as of now, if you understand, our inventory valuation is based on the accounting currency. So if your organization is in USA and if USD is your the accounting currency, then you can have your inventory valuation only in the USD. But this will allow you to have it in any other currency. So if you want to have it in GBP, INR or Euro or any other currency, it allows you to have it. What it does too, like it does not post your additional valuation methods or the ledgers into your journal ledger transaction. So your financial transactions in your trial balance will not be posted. It will remain in your sub ledgers, and it works for an individual legal entity. So if you want to define it for multiple legal entity, you have to do the separate setup for this. If you move further, if you talk about how it works, so I have categorized this into three major components. So you have to have the installation of this add-in. So this is an additional add-in which you need to install. Then we need to do some specific configuration for our legal entity, how we want this, like which currency and how these things will work. So we need to configure that, and then process transactions, the record transactions. And the most important part, the last part, is the reporting. So we are going to also check that how the reporting is going to work for this particular in global inventory accounting. So first thing is talking about the installation, that how the installation is going to work. So if you talk about the installation, there are some prerequisites which you need to have it. So you should be on a version of 27 or the later version. You should have the Power Platform and admin integration with your LCS. It should be enabled. And from the steps perspective, there are three simple steps which you need to have. You need to first install this particular global inventory accounting add-in, the app, to your Power Platform admin center, to the environment where you want to use this. Second thing is, once that's done, you also need to install this into your LCS in the required environment, and then you should have this feature enabled in your T365 finance and operation, and then you are ready to use this. Let me show it to you in my environment, that how and where you can see that it has been enabled or installed. So the first part is that I have logged into my Power Platform admin center, and I am into the environment where I want to use this. So if you see that I have the Dynamics 365 Global Inventory Accounting app installed here. If it is not installed for your environment, you can click on this install app on the top and search for this add-in and select your required environment where you want to install this, and click install. It will get installed. That's the point number one. The second point which you have it is that you need to log into your LCS, and in the LCS you have your add-in section. So you need to make sure that you install this global inventory accounting. You can install by clicking on the install new add-in, and then it will start installing for your environment. Once that is done, you also need to make sure that in your feature management, this particular feature for the global inventory accounting is enabled. So if I go here and look for the global, so I should have the global inventory accounting. Yes, so it has been enabled. Mostly by default this is been enabled. This should be enabled in your latest version, so just make sure that this is enabled. Once this is enabled, you will see that this has been added as a one of the module for you in the list of modules here. Once that is done, let's talk about that how we can configure this and process the transactions using this. So the next thing which I'm going to talk about is that before we start talking that how we can configure, we need to see that what are the different documents which are supported using this particular add-in. So these are the list of documents like we have which are supported as of now. Microsoft is continuously working on that on this. So as of now we do not have related to the production order or the manufacturing processes which are part of this, but I'm sure in future they are going to add those document types as well. Before we move to the configuration within the system, we need to understand the key concepts which we have as part of this particular module, and we can categorize this into two parts. So one is the conventions which we need to define for this global inventory accounting, and then we need to define the ledger for this. So let's talk about the convention. For your understanding, I have put the comparison between the convention as per the global inventory accounting, and also it is equal to something like which you define as an inventory accounting policy for your normal inventory valuations which you have in Microsoft Dynamics 365. Now there are four key components which we need to define, and I will try to explain in a simplified version, and we can dig into the more details and the more discussions about these components in the future videos, but let's understand the fundamentals as of now. So one of the first component which you need to define is the cost object policy. Now when we talk about the cost object policy, as of now this convention supports three things. You can define at a product site and warehouse, which means it is similar to our financial inventory tracking or the storage dimension which we define our D365 inventory policies, which means that how I want to track my inventory valuation. Do I want to track at a product level, or do I want to track at a product plus the site combination, or I want to go down to the warehouse level? So it is similar to the storage dimension, the financial inventory tracking which we have in D365. The next thing is which is your input measurement basis policy, and which is equal to like on what basis and what are the transactions which I want to consider for my valuation or for in the global inventory accounting. So it is having three different options as of now, like a normal historical transactions, which is your all your actual inventory transactions which you have. Then you can have a standard, and then you can have the price list also defined here. This is similar to your actual transactions which you post in the D365. Now the next thing which you have is a cost flow assumptions. So right now there are two options which we have it. One is average and one is specific batch. So average is similar to your moving average in D365, the inventory valuation, and the specific batch is that you want to go down to a batch level of that particular product, and it is going to give you the kind of an actual cost for that particular product. And this is equal to our different inventory valuations which we have in D365, like FIFO, weighted average, standard cost, and other methods which we have. The last one which you have it here as a component is the cost element policy, where you define which allows you to have the different element of your cost, like material cost, charges, and discounts, and you can compare this with your costing sheet in your normal inventory valuation, how it works in D365. So hope this explains you the different concepts which we need to define. So for any for any legal entity, if you want to define some parameters, we need to define the convention for that. And these are the four different component of the conventions which we need to define. The next thing is, once the convention is done, then you need to define the ledger. Now the ledger in global inventory accounting, ledger is similar to our financial ledger, so financial ledger, what it helps in general ledger is it helps you to understand or define or process your financial reporting, right? Similarly, the global inventory accounting ledger helps you to have the inventory reporting in based on the different ledger. But the good part here is that you can create as many as ledgers you want for that particular legal entity. So I can have a ledger where let's say if my local currency is USD, but I can have a one ledger which is for having the valuation in a different currency, let's say GBP. I can have another ledger defined which helps me to have, let's say, in a different valuation method, right? Like let's say standard cost. So I can define as many ledgers as I want in the global inventory accounting for my legal entity. Now only thing is that when we define any ledger, it is applicable to all the items. It is not applicable to a item or item group. So for this example, like if I have defined a GBP as a different valuation currency, I want to have it, so it will be applied to all the items. It is not that I want to have a some set of group of items into a GBP but rest other in different. So I cannot have that. A ledger is a register of debit and credit of the measures, and measures are nothing but your transactions and the valuation methods which based on the different conventions which you define. It captures your data sets for that. Now, if you talk about the component perspective, what are the different components which you have it for the ledger? You have the fiscal calendar, you have the currency which you need to define. So fiscal calendar is that how you want to have your valuation defined. So like your ledger calendar, you can have a different currencies that in which currency you want to have this valuation. Exchange rate, you define that on what exchange rate you want to value this or convert this. Convention, so convention includes all your four different key components which we just now spoken, and then your legal entity, for which legal entity you want to do it, right? And then you also have one more thing which is your priming. Priming is nothing but is that how do you want to evaluate your inventory transactions which have been posted in the past. So if you want to do that, you can have the priming also done for your transaction. Now depending on the volume you have for the for in your environment, it is going to take time for you to do the priming for this. So it is recommended that you do it in off business hours, this particular thing. Now let's understand by the example some applicability that how it can help us. So for example, you have one organization, it is in USA. Now you want to have the inventory valuation as per IFRS USD, but this is having the headquarter in UK. So you also want to have the inventory valuation in the UK GAAP in GBP, or you from the management accounting perspective, you want to have the reporting in the GBP. So this is just one scenario, like USMF has a HQ in UK, accounting currency is USD, and you want to have the valuation in GBP. So we are going to take this example and see that how it is going to work for us in D365. So let's see the demo for this, that how it is going to work for us. And we are going to talk about the different configuration, and we are going to look at one of the transaction in the D365 here. So I'm going to share my Dynamics screen. So before I go to the transaction part, let's understand the configuration. So one of the configuration which you need to define is the convention, as I spoken. So you go to the global inventory accounting, and then here you have the convention available for you. So you define the convention here. So let's say I have defined the convention in the GBP because that's what I want. Then I have a cost object policies to be defined. As I said, you can have the product site, and warehouse. So you can define the different cost object policy which you want. Then you have the option of defining the input measurement policy basis, that what policy basis you want to have it. If I go and do the view details for this, so here you have got the options, like if I want to create a new, and if I just give some name here, So if you have it here, so you have a standard and the normal historic one. So standard helps you to define based on the different price list which you can have it in the system. Normal historic is your the actual normal transaction, the purchase transactions or the sales transactions which you have in the system. So you define that. Then you define the cash flow cost flow assumption policy. Do you want to have it as an average or you want to have a batch specific? Currently these are two supported, but I have heard that Microsoft is going to come up with the one more, which is your FIFO. The next one which you have is the cost element policy, where in the cost element policy you define that how you want to break down your cost. So as we know that we have the different component of the cost element, where I can have a material cost, I can have a discount, or I can have a different charges which I have as part of my cost. So similar to the costing sheet which you can define here, or you define the cost element policy, and it is very simple. You can just create your add rules here directly. So it is going to have this setup. Once you are done with your conventions, what you can do is that you can start defining your the ledger. But before the ledger, you also have the calendar, which you can define it here. And if I go to this, you can use your fiscal calendars which you have defined in your journal ledger. And on this you will have an option like where this calendar has been attached, and you also have a status similar to your ledger calendars, where you can manage the open or the closed status of your ledger. Now once this is done, the last part which we need to do is that we need to define the ledgers. And as I said, that for a one legal entity you can define the multiple ledgers here. So I have defined one which is like USMF to the GBP. I want to do it. So if you see it here, I have the status as enabled. This should be you can enable this thing based on the current date only. You can't enable for the past date. Then you attach your calendar, you attach that which currency and what exchange rate you are going to use for this. Then the convention name. So convention name is the convention which we have defined based on the different policies and the things which we want to how we want to have the valuations. And then you have the legal entity, and then you want to process the legacy transaction processing, which is your priming, and you do this here. So this is how you set up your ledger, but you can have multiple ledgers defined here. The other way of you can create the ledger, the global inventory accounting ledger directly by clicking on new here, or what you can do is that you can click on this, the wizard which you have it. You click on this, you define each and every component, you define your basis policy, cost element policy, conventions, and the ledgers. And if you want to have more details about that, what is my manage input measurement policy, is that you can click on this, and it is going to take you to the official doc which you have in D365, and you can understand that how it is going to work for you. So once this is done, now you are ready to perform the transactions. And now for this particular session, what I have done is that we are going to talk more about in the next part from the reporting perspective and see that how it impacts. But let's understand that if I post any transaction in the USD, this system is going to give me the equivalent valuation of that particular inventory transaction into the GBP. So for that, what I have done is already I have created one purchase order, and I'm going to go to the purchase orders here. So I have created a purchase order, and I have posted a product receipt, and we will see that how those transactions can be viewed in a different currency or the different based on the different global inventory accounting ledger which we have set up here. So if I open this particular purchase order which I have created today, so this is my purchase order where 5 quantity 100. I posted a product receipt here. So product receipt is 500 USD. So now if I want to check that how system is capturing the data and converting my USD transactions into GBP and the different valuation method, how I can check this. So what I need to do is that I need to go to the lines here, and when I go to the lines, I have this inventory option, and here you will see a new option which is called as events and the measurements. So if I click on the events and the measurements, it is going to give me first in the USD that how my events or the different measures have been created. So if you see here, I have the quantity, I have an extended price, which is my 500. Do I have discount percentage or line charge or something like product quantity? So all these informations are specified here. And here in the bottom, you also have the dimensions, the measurement line details about this, that for which site, location, for which legal entity, for which product it is being created, and for which vendor it is. So all your dimensions, the measurement line dimensions are captured here in the bottom. Now this is giving me only in the USD, but if you remember, what we have done is that we have created a ledger in the GBP. So can I see that in the same inventory valuation in GBP? Now to look at that, what I need to do is that I need to click on this global accounting events and the measure on the top. So once I click on this will give me my global as per my global accounting ledger. So if you see it here, I have one ledger which has been set up, and I can select that. If I had multiple ledgers, I can view this information for the multiple ledgers. So for example, I have done for GBP, or I have done for a different valuation method. I can just look at it here. Now if you see it here, it is giving me the amount in my GBP currency. And in the bottom, if you see it, it is also defining, telling me that what cost object policy it has followed, what was my input measurement basis, and it is also giving me the exchange rate. So it is like 63.47 GBP for 100 USD. So my total cost was 500 USD. If you convert that, you will see that that value is in 317.35 GBP, which means now system is calculating the or giving me the inventory valuation in a different currency, and that's what is the global inventory accounting add-ins does for you. Now based on this, you can have your inventory valuation in dual currency, different valuation methods, and etc, etc. You can manage different accounting standards as well. So that's it for today's video. What I'm going to do is that in the next part, I'm going to dig more in detail, and we will talk about the dual valuation as well, and see that how this is going to impact our cost of goods sold, right? And also we will talk about that how this now this is not posting any financial transactions. So now I'm coming to our individual transaction looking at this, but we will talk about that how I can see the transactions in, or how we can see the reports for all the transactions which we have posted in different ledgers or different currencies or the different valuation methods. So that's it for this particular video. Hope this is going to help you in understanding this concept, and this is going to be a very powerful tool in my opinion from the inventory valuation perspective, which allows you to have a dual valuation and the dual currency valuation in Dynamics 365. That's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one.